Bonjour. Let's get into the rich history and culture of France today. We'll tour de France for fascinating and surprising facts about this beautiful country. Let's get to it. Geographical and cultural overview. France is located in Western Europe and is known for its diverse landscape, including mountains, beaches, and rolling countryside. The country is famous for its exquisite cuisine, fine wines, and vibrant arts scene. Paris, the capital, is often called the City of Light and is a global center for art, fashion, and culture. Ancient beginnings. France's history dates back to prehistoric times. The Karnak stones, located in Brittany, are one of the most intriguing megalithic sites in the world. These stones were erected around 4,500 BCE, making them older than Stonehenge by about 1,000 years. The Karnak alignments consist of over 3,000 standing stones arranged in rows, stretching over 4 kilometers. To this day, the purpose of these stones remains a mystery. Roman influence. The Romans played a significant role in shaping French culture. They conquered the region known as Gaul around 58 to 50 BCE. Roman architecture and culture left a lasting impact, and many Roman ruins can still be found across France. One of the oldest cities in France, Marseille, was originally a Greek colony founded around 600 BCE, which predates the Greek classical period by over 250 years. The rise of the Franks. In 486 CE, Clovis I became the first king of the Franks and established French sovereignty. He founded the Merovingian dynasty, which would later be overthrown by the famous Emperor Charlemagne. Charlemagne, also known as Charles the Great, became the king of the Franks in 768 and later the emperor of the Carolingian Empire. Interestingly, after his death, his disciples mummified his body and placed it on a throne in Aix-la-Chapelle, where it remained for over 400 years. Medieval France. The medieval period in France was marked by the reign of powerful kings and the influence of the Catholic Church. King Charles VI, who ruled from 1380 to 1422, is known for a peculiar reason. He believed he was made of glass and would shatter if touched. This delusion, known as the glass delusion, was a psychiatric disorder that appeared in Europe during the medieval and Renaissance periods. The Renaissance and the arts. The Renaissance was a time of great cultural flourishing in France. One of the most notable figures during this period was Leonardo da Vinci. After King Francois I of France recaptured Milan in 1515, Leonardo moved to France under the king's patronage. He lived at Clos-Lucé, near the king's residence at Château d'Amboise, until his death in 1519. Leonardo and the king developed a close friendship, and his influence on French art and culture was profound. France is also renowned for its contributions to literature. Since the inception of the Nobel Prize in 1901, French authors have won the most Nobel Prizes in literature, with a total of 16 awards. Some of the most distinguished winners include Albert Camus, Jean-Paul Sartre, André Gide, Patrick Modiano, and Annie Ernaux. Revolutionary France. The French Revolution of 1789 was a pivotal moment in world history. It led to the end of the monarchy, the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, and the establishment of the French Republic. The revolution was driven by the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which continue to shape French society today. Modern France. France played a significant role in both World War I and World War II. The country was a major battlefield in both wars and suffered considerable damage. However, the resilience and spirit of the French people helped the nation rebuild and thrive once more. Now let's dive into some unique and surprising facts about France that you might not know. Emperor Charlemagne sat on the throne for over 400 years. After Emperor Charlemagne died, his disciples sat his mummified body on a throne in Aix-la-Chapelle, where it sat for 400 years. A French king once believed he was made of glass. King Charles VI of France thought he was made of glass, and if touched would shatter. This delusion was symptomatic of a psychiatric disorder called glass delusion, which appeared in Europe during the medieval period and the Renaissance. King Charles VI might have been the first to be afflicted by this strange condition. The city of Marseille is older than Socrates. Marseille, the oldest city in France, was originally a Greek colony founded around 600 BCE, which predates the Greek classical period by over 250 years. Remnants of Greek and Roman ruins are available to explore all over the city. The French cavalry captured 14 Dutch ships. Yes, you read that correctly. The French cavalry, the infantry on horseback, once captured 14 Dutch ships when they were frozen at anchor in Nieuw-Verdiepe in a feat known as the capture of the Dutch fleet at Den Helder during the War of the First Coalition. France is one of the oldest nations in the world. French sovereignty was declared in 486 CE during the reign of the first King of France, Clovis I, who founded the Merovingian dynasty, which was deposed by Emperor Charlemagne. Yes, the one who sat on the throne for 400 years. France has a megalithic site that's older than Stonehenge. Move over Stonehenge. The Carnac stones, otherwise known as Carnac alignments, located in Brittany on the west coast of France, were erected 1,000 years before Stonehenge and are composed of 3,000 perfectly aligned carved stones that stretch for 4 kilometers. To this day, there is still no explanation for the creation of these alignments. Leonardo da Vinci lived and died in France. After François I, King of France, recaptured Milan in 1515, where da Vinci was living at the time, Leonardo da Vinci came under his patronage and took up residence at Clos Lucé, which was adjacent to the king's palace of residence at Château d'Amboise. Da Vinci and the king became close friends and remained such until da Vinci's death at Clos Lucé in 1519. Speaking of the arts, France has the largest number of Nobel Prizes in literature in the world. Since the introduction of the Nobel Prize in 1901, France has garnered the most awards for the Nobel Prize in Literature, amassing a total of 16 over the contest's 120-year history. Distinguished French authors such as Albert Camus, Jean-Paul Sartre, André Gide, Patrick Modiano, and recently Annie Ernaux have all earned this prestigious award. A French king was assassinated by a failed monk. After surviving 12 previous assassination attempts, King Henry IV was finally struck down by a fanatical Catholic zealot, François Ravaillac, whose violent views were the cause of his expulsion from a number of Catholic institutions. On May 14, 1610, Ravaillac ambushed the king's coach and stabbed Henry IV to death on Rue de la Ferronnière. And finally, you can't kiss your significant other goodbye if they're taking the train. Even though Paris may be known as the City of Love, there is a 1910 law that forbids kissing on any railway platforms if a train is present. I've broken this one a few times, and it doesn't seem to be regularly policed unless you're delaying the train, which is why the law was originally implemented. France has been home to many influential figures throughout its history. Here are a few. Joan of Arc, a peasant girl who became a national heroine and a saint. She led the French army to several important victories during the 100 Years' War and played a crucial role in the coronation of Charles VII. Napoleon Bonaparte, a military leader who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and became Emperor of the French. His Napoleonic Code laid the foundation for modern legal systems in many countries. Marie Curie, a physicist and chemist who conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and remains the only person to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. Victor Hugo, a literary giant whose works include Les Misérables and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. He was also a political activist and played a significant role in the movement to abolish the death penalty in France. Charles de Gaulle, a military leader who led the Free French forces during World War II and later became the President of France. He was instrumental in establishing the Fifth Republic and restoring France's stature as a major power. France's rich history and vibrant culture have made it one of the most fascinating countries in the world. From ancient megaliths to medieval kings, Renaissance artists, and modern-day literary giants, France continues to captivate and inspire. We hope you enjoyed this quick tour de France's history and culture. If you found these facts interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting content.